You need to think for just a moment about your relationships, the ones you got right now. Why y'all hooked up? Why do you relate? Is it because you see the Christ in them and that's pulling at you? Or is it because you share common darkness? Is our relationship built more on things that don't reflect God? Or is our relationship built on both of us advancing the kingdom? Which one is it? There's no middleman. How do we relate? Yeah. That's why the Bible tells us not to be unequally yoked with unbelievers. What that does not mean, it does not mean that you don't deal with unbelievers. The key word to this is unequally yoked, which means this: to be yoked to a thing means that we're both on the same level. See, what you got to understand as a believer, all of my relationships with unbelievers should be ones by which I'm the leader. Am I making sense? When I'm the leader and I know that's my position and I hold that position, that meant that I'm the one that's giving, not receiving. Am I making sense? Our problem is, what we'll try to do is come down to somebody's level so we can relate. And so whenever I do that, whenever I lower myself or water myself down, just so you and I can get along better, what I'm actually doing is watering down the Christ in me. I've effectively made Christ common, which exposes me to your vulnerabilities and you to mine, and now we have more of a tendency to lean toward darkness than light. It doesn't matter how long I've been saved or what position I hold. Whenever I decide to come down to relate, I make Christ take a back seat. See, we got this tendency where we work so hard to be accepted that what we'll end up doing is making ourselves vulnerable to the very thing you thought you were delivered from. You have to understand that your position, your present position is divine screening for your relationships. Let me explain that. If they cannot handle where you are, then they automatically screen themselves out. And what happens throughout in relationships is that God does not promote or move people at the same time. So there'll be times where God will start moving you to a place of more holiness, and then the relationship becomes in question. Because I can no longer do what we used to do, because God has elevated me. But if I come back down just to relate to you, then I've just rendered Christ null and void. All the advancement, all the progression, all the suffering I went to get to the new place, I just moved that off the table just so you and I can get along. No. So this whole thing is about relating, whether it be with one another or with him. I've got to keep trying to grow so that I can find something in him that's in me. I'm getting so far ahead of myself. The Bible tells us this, that you and I are supposed to be conformed to the image of Christ. How do I do this? You ever had that question? Here it is. Here's your answer. How do I become like Christ? Through a genuine relationship with him, because this brings about relating. He will not conform to the darkness that's in me, because the word says there is no shadow of turning in him. The word says he's already complete. The word calls him holy, which means he's lacking nothing. So in our relationship, he's always going to be the dominating party. So in my relationship with him, he'll always be above me. That's the posture of worship. I always keep him above me. I never want to bring God down and make him common. So in our relationship, he's always dominating the conversation. So if he's dominating, that means I'm the one that has to change. So as I build a deeper relationship with him, we relate more. See if I can help you understand it even better. But let's put a pause in that. Let's talk about this other spirit of religion that contradicts relationship. There are several things that the religious spirit does, but its goal remains the same, which is to discredit Christ. That's worth writing down. It comes in many